You shouldn't be getting this crossfaded at 3 p.m. She found out where her mother was secretly hiding her alcohol. This is probably some of the strongest alcohol you could probably ever consume. 97% alcohol. Would y'all be down to take some shots? I feel like we should be okay before we go to our shift. Oh, I was so wrong when I said that. You guys are gonna find out exactly why. And I just started to lay my face on the backpack. But I fell asleep in the bathroom. And it was like, yeah, I just don't, I have a headache, I don't feel good. Welcome back, you guys. Today I decided to record a video real quick because I'm working on a video, like a little video essay that I kind of need more time to finish up. I didn't want to leave the channel kind of dry for 2 weeks. I kind of want to get a video up and going. So I decided, why not go back into my memories, right? And dig up some of the past. I have a whole bunch of stories that I haven't even told yet. I'd say I lived a pretty eventful life. I've done some things that I'd say I wouldn't advise anybody to do, right? I wouldn't really encourage anybody to do any of my stories that I talk about on this channel. And this one specifically is one of those stories that I advise you guys to not reenact in real life. But I wanted to tell a story about this one time that I went to work extremely crossfaded. Now when I say extremely crossfaded, I mean extremely crossfaded. Like me even trying to get into the restaurant was a big challenge for me. Like that's how crossed I was. So yeah, without any further ado, I'm gonna start it off by explaining what time this was. This is around the time when I was in high school. While I was in high school, I had a job. My very first job was at Wendy's. I'd say around this time when this situation happened, I was probably maybe 4 months into me working there. I was 16. I think I remember. What? If I wasn't 16, definitely 17, but I'm pretty sure I was 16. Really? Now what made me decide to work at that Wendy's was my friend at the time, which plays an important role into the story, but I'm gonna give her a fake name, right? A cover-up name. We're gonna call her Jane. Now Jane at the time was about the same age as me, maybe a couple months older. She just happened to get hired by Wendy's. So when I found out she got the job, I was like, well, if she can get the job at Wendy's, then what's stopping me from submitting my application, at least get an interview from them? I did exactly that. And I waited. I think they took about a week, called me up, right? Whatever, got the job. If anything, I'm gonna make a full in-depth video about my time at Wendy's and about how I will never in my life again work at a fast food restaurant, or at least try my best in life to never put myself in a position to work at a fast food restaurant. Continuing on to the main story, on this specific day, it was a weekday. Don't remember what day it was. It was like a Monday or a Tuesday, right? A day that someone probably wouldn't, like, unless you're a teenager or like, you know, an alcoholic, you shouldn't be getting drunk at this time. You shouldn't be getting this wasted this early in the day. You shouldn't be getting this crossfaded at 3 p.m. You what? But we decided to do it. Why? Because we were young teenagers that really just wanted to have a good time at work, right? We just really wanted to vibe out at work. Are we bad? Are we wrong for that? Are we really wrong for that? Just because we really wanted to, like, you know, just have a nice, relaxing day at work. You know, a little schmeeze, you know, it don't hurt nobody, right? It was a weekday and I just so happened to work on this weekday. As well as my friend Jane that told me about the job. As well as this one girl that I was dating at the time that we're gonna give the name Samantha. Samantha, Jane, and I, the three of us, worked at Wendy's, and we just happened to be really close friends. But I say, since the three of us got the job at Wendy's, we became even closer. We would hang out before work. Since we all went to the same school, we all rode the same bus. We lived that close that sometimes we would get off at one friend's house and just chill with each other until we had to clock into our shift. And we would just take the bus. Ironically, we take the bus, right, to school, get home from the bus, and then we walk ourselves to the transit bus in our town area. And on this day, we decided to chill out at our friend Samantha's house before the three of us went into work. Now, from 9th to 11th grade, I'd say I'd be coming home around like 2:40, I think. Because now that I think of it, high school was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Damn, I graduated in 2018. Damn, I'm like unk status almost. But yeah, I think we would get home around 2:40, 3 o'clock, the latest. We would chill for 45 minutes to maybe like 2 hours, depending on what time our shift started. Sometimes I was scheduled at 4. and then my two friends, Jane and Samantha, could be scheduled at 5, or opposite, right? Or randomly, right? Whatever. But all I remember that we would always have at least an hour or two to like chill, to hang out, just unwind a little bit. Plenty of time to rest up before heading into work. So we get off the bus and we start heading to Samantha's house. We just head up to her room, right? Put our bags down. We're just vibing, listening to music at first, scrolling through Instagram, talking about what we went through the day, right? After we talked about the long day we had at school, Samantha told us how she found out where her mother was secretly hiding her alcohol. Now this bottle was no ordinary alcohol bottle. This is probably some of the strongest alcohol you could probably ever consume. You know how alcohol has like percentages? I'm not a big alcohol drinker, so I don't know how all that stuff works. If we're talking about weed, I'm your guy. I can tell you THC percentages, I can tell you sativa, indica, hybrid, differences between all of them. I know all that shit. When it comes to alcohol, nope. Nothing. What I do know is that this was about 97% alcohol. I don't know the like number of proof it was. If I find the exact bottle, I'm gonna put a picture on the screen. She told us it was Everclear, and we didn't know what that was. As teenagers, we just heard alcohol and we were excited. So I said, yo, do you know what that is? Yeah. I was actually the one that came up with the idea of getting a little saucy before going to work. I was like, okay, would y'all be down to take some shots? They kind of thought about it, and I wanted to get a little smooth, you know, I wanted to get right before work. At this time, I was not drinking that often. It was probably like my third time drinking. Whenever I found alcohol, I kind of didn't want to pass up the opportunity. When I found out she knew what a bottle was, I said, I bet, bring that bottle up and let's get turned before work. We could take a couple drinks. I feel like we should be okay before we go to our shift. Oh, I was so wrong when I said that. You guys are gonna find out exactly why. She goes downstairs, goes to the kitchen, goes to the cabinet where she located the bottle. As she's downstairs looking for the bottle, me and Jane are in her room. I'm over here a little excited, a little nervous, because like I said, this is not my first time, but this is still like my early days of drinking. So me being like extremely drunk, I don't even think happened yet. Like, yeah, I've been like schmiz, you know, buzzed, maybe like about to be drunk, so like more than tipsy, but I've never been like fully fucked up, like about to black out, like barely walking drunk. So a little nervous, but excited. Jane, she was actually kind of second guessing herself about wanting to drink before work, but after she saw we were all down, I guess she didn't want to seem like a party pooper. I don't know. Now, she comes back upstairs and she brought some glasses, some like, you know, the little shot glasses. She gives them out, one to me, one to Jane. She kept one to herself, and she showed us the bottle. This is when I read the bottle. This is when I like saw it was like 98%. Are you dead ass? At this time I was like mind blown. I was like, what? I didn't know like that number can be that high for alcohol. Like I thought there was a limit to this shit. Like I'm over here thinking like there must be a bottle out there that's 100% alcohol, and that's like the ultimate alcohol. Like that's the bottle that alcoholics reach for just so they can get their fix every day. After I finished expecting the bottle, I passed it back. Well, I passed it to Jane. She looked at it. She didn't really look at it that long. She passed it to Samantha. She started to open up the bottle and pour us a shot for all of us, right? First shots, toasted, swung down. And you know, it takes a while for the alcohol to fully kick in. So we were like laughing, realized it was kind of like harsh. Like it stung your throat. Like that shit was like, whoa. Chilled for a bit. I think we waited about 5 minutes and we're like, you know what? Round 2. So another shot, toast, swig. I think about 30 minutes have passed by, right? And at this time we had about 45 minutes to an hour to catch the bus to go to work. After we took the second shot, had a conversation about how we've been liking Wendy's, the people working there, our positions. We started to joke about how long one person would last there at work. As we're chopping it up, as we're having a great time, just vibing to the music that we had playing, we started to feel the alcohol in us. We started to really chat it up. I started to mention that I had a couple joints rolled up in my backpack, ready to be smoked as we were running at the bus. So they was all for it. I was looking forward to the joints because at this time, I've already experienced crossfaded one time. I knew I was feeling pretty good. Like I knew that I was like a little bit drunk. Not drunk, but I was a little bit drunk. But, oh, that was no issue because drunk was coming soon. That was around the corner, and I had no idea what drunk was gonna be until this day. As I mentioned, that I had a joint in my bag ready to be sparked up. We look at the time, and we have about 15 minutes before we have to start heading out the door for us to catch the bus. I said, you know what? Since we're about to leave, let's take one last shot. I'm sure she won't find out. Put a little bit of water. I had to put her on some game. I had to tell her, put a little bit of water to make it seem like no one touched the bottle. And then we should be valid. Poured us our final 3rd shots. After that, toasted, swung. Alright, let's go. She collected the cups, washed them. Now, this is not the first time we came to her house before our shifts. We've done this a good amount of times beforehand. But this was the first time that we've gotten this intoxicated before work. I'll tell you that much. We already had our clothes that we had to change for work. So we changed in their bathroom, and then after the 3 of us finished changing, we asked each other if we have everything. We had all our personal belongings, that we didn't leave anything behind in her house, because we knew we were pretty drunk. We were pretty drunk. We didn't want to admit it at this point, but we knew we were pretty drunk. So we just wanted to make sure we have everything. We walk out the door. The bus stop, luckily, isn't that far from her house. But I'll tell you this, that walk made us realize, oh, we're up. Like, we were like, ooh. Well, I definitely was like, whoa. I was feeling it. I'm pretty sure, well, I don't know what was going through the girls' minds, but I was wondering if I was gonna be able to go to work. I was feeling at 90% all right. We're walking to the bus stop. As we get there, we're giggling, we're laughing it up, because we realize we are up. We were having such a great time waiting for the bus to go to work that we completely ignored the fact that we probably shouldn't be working in a location with hot oil, sharp items, handling people's food in this condition. We didn't realize that we shouldn't be working this up. We get to the bus stop and I switch over my bag to the front, I unzip it and I pull out the first joint. I spark it up. It was pretty windy this day. I remember because lighting it was a little bit of a bitch and I was already drunk, so that kind of played into a factor of me struggling to light this J. But I got it to light, take a couple drags. I pass it to Jane. She takes a couple drags and we get the rotation going. The bus probably came in 10 minutes by the time we get there, so we had a good amount of time to finish this J. After the 10 minutes go by, we see the bus in the distance. Bus comes, we finish the J, I throw it out. Now, I don't remember this, but of course it happened. Okay, I see the bus coming, the bus approaches, I fill the joint. I went on the bus. I know that, of course I did, because I have to go to work. But the whole ride was a blur, you guys. I'm telling you that, and it's funny because I remember this specifically because I was so lost when it happened. So I get on the bus, I take my seat, bam, completely felt like I teleported to my job, because I guess I regained consciousness when our stop was approaching at our job. Now my friends tapped me on the back when we got closer to our job to make sure I was aware that we were gonna get off. But that's when I realized, I was like, whoa, where am I? I was like, oh shit, I'm at work. Okay, I get off the bus, they got off with me of course, and we start walking to the restaurant. Now the bus stop is on this like kind of hill. I was not falling, but it was kind of a struggle walking down this steep hill to get to the parking lot. You know, that's flat, and then I walk into the restaurant. Luckily, I knew I had an hour before clocking in. My 2 friends, Jane and Samantha, they had to clock in right away. Like, they had 5 minutes left to clock in. We came there at exactly, I think, 4:55. They clocked in at 5. I had to clock in at 6. They went straight to the front counter. They put their finger, they clocked in, right? They put their stuff down and they went straight to work. Exactly in the condition they were at. Extremely f***ed up off of 3 shots of Everclear and a full joint of some za. And since I knew I had an hour before I had to clock in, I decided to go to the bathroom and tried to like at least throw up what I had in me. What? Because at that time, I believed that if I threw up, it would kind of take some of the drunkenness away from me. No. So you guys know how in most public bathrooms, they have like this fold-out table that people use to change babies' diapers. They had it in their bathroom stall. So I go into the bathroom stall, they only have 1 stall, and I close the door behind me, unfold that table from the wall, I put my backpack there, and then I'm hovering over the toilet, like trying to like throw up. I'm not the type to put my fingers in my mouth. I was trying my best to like just like throw up on command. Like I was like opening my mouth, hovering over the bathroom, I was like, Oh,
what?
Yeah, it wasn't working. I gave up a little bit, but I was like so f***ed up. Like at this point, since I guess me trying to vomit, like I really tried vomiting like really bad, like hard. I was like, I don't know. I think I gave myself a headache, and that made me nauseous, and I just started to lay my face on the backpack, and I fell asleep. I don't know for how long, but I fell asleep in the bathroom. Luckily not on the floor, but still, it was kind of embarrassing. I mean, you could technically say it was on the floor because I was on my knees like this. So I guess I was sleeping on the floor, on the bathroom floor. All I know is I closed my eyes, and then the next one, I hear a knock, 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 knock. I said, what the heck? Huh? What the f is that? I said, someone's in the bathroom. Well, no, I said it in a drunk way. I was like, someone in the bathroom. And come to find out, it was my district manager. I'm gonna call her V for the sake of, you know, not ruining her reputation at work. My district manager was the one that was knocking on the door. And I was a little bit freaked out because I was like, this is like my first time coming into this job this up. Like, this is probably my 5th, 6th month working here, and I'm already leaving a bad impression for my district manager. Now, I was panicking a little bit, but she sounded like she was like actually concerned for me. She was like, Jordan, honey, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just don't, I have a headache, I don't feel good. She's like, open the door. I said, okay. So I opened the door, and she's like, what's the matter? And I told her I have a headache. She's like, all right, let's go sit out in the dining room. So I get my bag, right? She takes me all the way to the back. She's like, do you want water? And I said, yeah. So she goes to get water. She comes back, she gives me the water, and she goes closely to my ear. She goes, I know you're drunk right now. And then when I heard that, my eyes opened wide. I'm like, oh, bruh. I thought my job was done. I thought I was gonna get fired right then and there. I thought, well, I gotta start applying to other jobs then. She was actually pretty chill. She was just like, listen, yes, I know you're drunk. And I was like, no, I'm not. She was like, Jordan, you literally look like you are f***ed up. Your face clearly shows it. I'm not letting you work. I'm not gonna let you in the kitchen because it could be very dangerous, and I don't want someone drunk working behind any hot oil and hurting yourself because you came in drunk. So I'm not gonna call your parents, but you're not gonna be able to work today. And I was like, no, I got it. Just give me an hour and I'm gonna sober up. And she was like, no, I don't want you to hurt yourself, so you can't work today. I was kind of butthurt because I was like, damn, I missed a whole day that I could have been making money. And then as she tells me this, because she's pointing, I'm unable to work in the kitchen, I see over the little wall they had in the dining, and I seen Jane and Samantha both working, still in their positions. One of them was doing drive-through, and the other one was doing sandwiches. I don't know how they did it. They had the same amount of shots as me, and I mean, maybe I might have smoked a bit more of the J than they did, but they were able to keep their cool. They were able to work through their shift in the condition they were at without getting caught. Wow. I didn't want to say anything, right? But I was a little disappointed in myself. I'm like, damn, I was the one that got caught. I was the one that they didn't let work. After I decided to take the L, not a total L, because the district manager never ended up calling my parents. Thankfully, shout out to her. She a G for that. I couldn't go home because what am I gonna tell my parents? Oh, yeah, they sent me home early because so-and-so. I don't know. I couldn't make something up, and it didn't really matter because I had no car and the next bus wasn't gonna come until like my friends were out of work. It just didn't make any sense for me to go back home. I just decided to chill the rest of the day in the town that this Wendy's was at and decided to just walk to Walmart that was close by. Literally within the first hour and a half of me leaving the restaurant, I was okay. I was sober. I know I could have worked. If they let me work, I would have been fine. And that probably explains why Samantha and Jane were both still working while I was getting the lecture on how I couldn't work today. Because by the time that they caught on to me, they were okay. When the time came for them to come out, I started to explain my story on how the district manager found out about me being that drunk at work. And they were in disbelief that they didn't get caught, that I still kept my job. Like, they thought if they got caught, like, it was dumb for them. Like, they were gonna get fired on the spot. They were a little paranoid, they told me. But yeah, no, they were able to finish their shift. They went through the whole thing. no complaints that I know about from the district manager about them working that day. And I lost a day of work. I just bullshitted the whole day. My parents never found out about that. And I've never came, I think, that fucked up, or I never came that under the influence into work. If you guys ever seen my LSD story, I mentioned towards the end of the video a little story about how I decided to take acid like 30 minutes at the end of my shift and how that kicked in. So I could consider that a little bit of me tripping at work, but I've never went to work this up. Like I'm telling you, like I never went to work this drunk, this crossfaded, like barely able to walk, not able to function, intoxicated. Honestly, I'm happy that she didn't let me work, because I think I would have hurt myself behind the grill or behind the fryer. My skin would have probably peeled off. I could have probably burnt my face off from recklessly just throwing the fries in the fryer because I was just that up and don't have control over my hands. Because when you're like really drunk, your reflexes aren't the same as they are when you're sober, unless you're an alcoholic, unless you're a trained drunk. Because there are some drunks out there that can do anything drunk. You guys are God's gift.
What?
You guys are real talent, I'll tell you that much. Yep, that's it for the video, you guys. Hope you guys enjoy. I have other videos coming up, not only story videos. You guys will see that soon. And if you guys enjoy this, leave a like, comment your first job, and subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Peace.